Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi here. I have a legendary video, solo, into District Union. But what I want to talk to you about is a little bit different. I want to talk to you about problem solving. And one of the things about problem solving, that's kind of what games are sometimes. You have a problem, you have to solve it, and you do different things to solve that. So why? The foundation and the framework, the word why. What are the concepts I use to cogitate? The most fundamentally useful tool for thinking is one of the first we use to help us describe the world around us. Why? For what reason, what purpose? That's what why means. This is one of the first things we ask our caretakers as we mature. Why? This question is eventually beaten out of us. As we exhaust the various knowledge bases and intellectual faculties of our caregivers, eventually the answer to why is just because, which we learn is the signal of the end of the why questioning. As we repeat this process, we eventually pick up the caregiver's frustration with being unable to answer these questions, and we learn that this is not a positive behavior to elicit nurturing. Instead, we learn to accept that the world is a mysterious place and limited to the extent of our caregiver's knowledge, patience, and lack of continuous learning. As we observe our caregivers and peers, as we get older, we receive less and less objective answers to our well-phrased questions. We start to learn the limitations of our friends, siblings, and finally parents, or proxies of our parents. We then start a pattern of questioning everything, but we usually do not circle back around to asking why and find out the answers for ourselves. We instead rationalize that if all knowing caregivers can fudge the answers as well as our peers, siblings, teachers, etc., then we too are entitled to this same moral high ground, this new relativistic view of the world created by us and decorated with intellectual cherry pickings that are beneficial to our development, allows us to function in this world. Eventually, we are reintroduced through some means to this innocence lost. We learn new concepts like 5 whys in lean manufacturing and asking open-ended questions. There are a couple of new tools that help lay bare the once mysterious matter of the world that was shrouded and created in our youth. We relearn the power of why, and hopefully, before too much of our adult life passes, we reintroduce this into our inquiry of the world. The question, why, is essential to our existence, our success, our recovery, our roadmap to the unending, ever-changing, unfolding events we experience in our lives. Asking this question repeatedly, childlike, helps us to erase the shrouds of the previously mysteriously created world. Are all the insights what we want? No. Do we understand all the answers given? No. However, with this rediscovered tool, if used to its fullest, we reclaim the explanation of most things. One final thought. This is why it is 5 whys and not unlimited whys. There's only a benefit to limiting the continually diminishing returns as the razor of why scores the fabric of our reality before us. So 5 whys it is. So, why am I doing these videos? 1, I like doing them. 2, other people that comment them introduce thoughts to me and make me think about why I'm doing them, why things work, why things don't work. And I really enjoy that. Games are a lot of times an analogy for other things, or you can use them as that. Analogies are a way that we talk to each other sometimes. If you put this game in a framework of a problem, this soloing District Union becomes more of a challenge. Sure, there's aiming and firing and ammo and those kind of things. But also there's a mix of what works, why did it work before, why isn't it working now? I could do things better, I could do things worse. Why, when I'm in heroics, it's okay for me to do this, and in legendary, I can't do this? Why in a challenging can I do something, and I can't do it in heroic? And what I would tell you is the end goal of all this is you're going to better enjoy your game, because as you figure out these are the things going on, you're just going to enjoy the game more. You're going to get through all the content. You're going to be able to do different things, and then you're going to do variations on that. What if I made it a little bit harder? That's what directives are. So if you think a legendary is hard, there's some people that do legendaries and turn off the radar. That makes it a little bit harder. Sometimes they limit your ammo. So you can put 5 directives to make it even harder. If you do legendary at the summit, you can put on 10 directives and it makes it supremely hard. And sometimes there's rewards for that, but sometimes the reward is just the intrinsic value, knowing that you accomplished something, you tried something that you normally wouldn't have done. There's some growth in that. And no one's playing this game. I don't think anyone's playing the game to have growth, but I'm going to tell you that you are. I've had growth. I had routinely gone into matches and I'd look at someone's watch level and I'd go, oh, they're not going to be able to. And I'm wrong. A lot of times I'm wrong. I put videos out that I was pretty sure of what I was doing, and I had people, Rich85, Ultimate Shield, Sloth Mood, let me get you some of the other names of people that have explained to me, hey, there's a different way to do it. You might try this. There's some things that are a little bit better. Super Slanky Lanky comes to mind. So, I'm soloing District Union. It's a little bit slow. And I'm going back and forth. In the first section, I'd use a different build. I use my build that I use on Legendary finishing. It's a yellow build with 3 improvised pieces of armor that I can put mods in, and I put 12% reduction to elites in there. This allows me to go against the Chungas and not worry about their damage, as long as I have some little type of healing. The problem with that build, it's a lot slower killing, in that if I know I'm facing Chungas, I need to have a healing, so I'm just pulsing and using weapon. It's also kind of my support build in legendaries, where I can kind of help people. At this section, once I get through that first section, there's no real Chungas that can rush on me. They're going to come at a certain point here, but I have my maximum skill DPS build. And I don't know if I should go back. Part of it is triggered by using Scorpio, but part of the problem is, for me to get the full advantage, I have to shoot people with Scorpio and then switch and shoot them with test subject. And I routinely get hit with bullets when I do that. So although it might be better, it might produce more DPS, in the end, I'm just more at risk. So I'm probably going to change that. What I'd like to do is take a screenshot of the map and then kind of, in the beginning of this, tell you how to go through here, if it's possible. That's what I'd like to do. That's how I think. I think top down, like a map. Like, here's where I'm going. This section, I do this. This section, I do this. And we all don't think the same. I remember I was in the United States Coast Guard. I took the ASVAB, which is a test in the Coast Guard, and the part I stunk on was they had a diagram of an unfolded geometric shape, and you had to guess what it was when it folded all together. And I think that's called 3D spatial. And I'm not really that good. Everyone knows that righty-tighty tightens a bolt, but what if the bolt is facing the other side away from me and I'm, blindly turning it? That gets me every time. because I'm bad at that. And that's one of those things, like, I guess I could fix that, but I don't use a space in my mind for that. But I'm going to ask myself why. Why am I doing this? Why is this working? Why is this not working? When I'm at my job, why is this working? Why is it not working? Why did that person do this? And you can go crazy asking too many whys. At a certain point, you get diminishing returns, like the more you ask why, it doesn't give anything. Here comes the chungas. So I've triggered the status effect portion of this, and I'm going to throw seekers out. A funny mechanic is when you're fighting from this area, eventually that second skill I throw out doesn't always work. A thing I saw that Sloth Mood explained, that you can shoot through the fabric here, and I didn't realize that. So you're going to see me do that as well. If I don't die first, this would be a short video. It'd be disappointing I gave you that real long preamble. There's more to that, but I'm not going to read it all now. But I think problem solving is a key thing for everyone in every facet of your life, right? It's a big thing. I think a easy way to communicate to people is through analogies that they can understand. If someone understands your analogy, they'll understand what you're talking about almost instantly. If they don't understand your analogy, the feedback's pretty instant as well. So I'm rocking back and forth, and eventually you can see those seekers. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So that yellow build that I was mentioning, either my maximum defensive build would be great right here, because I could take that. In a video I'm not going to show you, for 34 minutes I died with, just about every build I had. Sometimes I killed myself because it wasn't going anywhere. I was like, I'm not going to be able to go to the next section. My tank build's pretty stout in here. That got pretty far. Ultimate Shield has been talking about using cover-to-cover system. I tried to build a cover-to-cover kit, but what happens is my tendencies to play keep creeping in, where I will screw up those kits by putting some else. So see, I get through here. I'm putting out a ton of DPS on that turret. When I used to play, when I had like a Empress all yellow build for my skill build, I'd be happy if I could put 120 out on my turret. I put 120 out on when I got my stuff roared up, 120 plus on my drone. And when everything's rocking, when I got, let's say, my turret and my Artificer Hive, I'm getting 300 damage solo off of my... Now, it's not as good as 500,000 someone's doing from an AR, but I'm doing that from a protected spot. Maybe I was chasing the dogs with a squirt gun or something right about now. So as I went through here, I had run into a thing that Sloth Mood talked about, where he said he had gotten further than a certain point, but then he got stuck. I'd gotten to this part before, and what happened was, not this time, but a previous time, the guys came through this gate and killed me because I pushed too far forward with my turret. There's my turret there. They're going to come. I shouldn't have seekers. I should be dead. I just made a mistake. But somehow I get past here. But really right there, I should have a hive that's going to put a bleed, that's going to start the chain reaction where I'm going to get more DPS. Again, now I want you to think about this now. I'm going to shoot through this plastic wrap here. I didn't know you could do that. So this was a point where I always limited myself And you'll see that I hit him with the Scorpio. I can see that I'm hitting him through the little plastic. Again, they don't put walls in all these places, but we make them walls. So again, why am I not shooting through the wall? If you play Manning Legendary, there's one part where you just shoot through a fence, you know, through that kind of plastic wrap. So the second half of this part of this map is tough. The first part, there's some guys that camp out on a mounted gun. And once you get done with them, you're going to spawn grenadiers and drone guys. So here's what I've decided to do. I am now going to throw out a hive. And I'm going to, you know, have them come to this choke point. And so I'll probably go in, I'm making this video now, so I'm going to put it out tonight, and I'll probably go back in and run this, and I'm going to try to get as far as I can. I don't know how I'm going to beat the boss. I have no idea. I wonder if it's a single person and won't scale as high. But this is one of those cases, I shouldn't be worrying about that. I should just be worrying about section to section. And there have been a few times, the furthest I got in this solo, I got into the pool room where there's a pool table, and I died running back like I am right now. This is how I died before. So I have to do better. I died like that running away from a fight more than anything. And what's going to happen now, because I don't have the turret up far enough, I'm not going to intercept the drones fast enough with the hive, which means I got to use a lot of my healing kits, which then makes me think about, man, if I had the system corruption outfit that has unlimited kind of healing. But one of the skills, and it gives you 15% on a kill. When you're solo, those are good. I thought about making a build where I think 2-piece on that, it's 15%, 3-piece on Heartbreaker might be 15 or 20%. So I was thinking about making a build where I just got 40% on every time I killed somebody. I got 40%, 50% armor back. So I'm thinking of these builds. And like I talked about in I'm being a punk, a lot of times I go back to my standard builds. And so if you look at someone like Ultimate Shields Guides, he makes a great point. You know, you got what's the intention of your build? How are you actually playing? I'm in cover all the time. So maybe I need to have that one skill where I get 12% extra damage if I'm in cover, because I'm in cover the whole time, versus the 20%, but I got to get out and shoot them and. How much survivability do you have? Believe me, it was a lot harder when I was doing it. It seems like pretty easy now. I'm like, oh, I got through there pretty easy. That's Caesar and Roxy. I forgot the dogs were in here. So in this room where I'm sitting, in that room, I forgot the dogs were there. So like, I don't know what I was thinking. This is the other problem with this, my build, is against dogs, I do less damage because the status effect doesn't help me here. The other thing, if I go to a gunner build, I'm going to run into the thing where I do 10% less damage against dogs. Caesar, knock it off. I'll squirt you. Knock it off. He doesn't like it when I kill the dogs. So for a technician build, the dogs are always pretty easy, I think. Now, problem with this room, it's long. Pulse doesn't reach that far, but they're going to have dogs. They're going to have the other things. Maybe I should have Pulse and a turret here. That spot I'm putting that turret, that is a primo spot. They hate it so much that they kill that turret. But that's a great spot. It reaches all the way down there and it does good damage. Now, an interesting thing, when I'm soloing this, there's 3 waves that happen here. Wave 1, a mixture of Johnny Fives, guys with drones, and just dudes. Phase 2 is normally 2 dogs and like a dude. And then phase 3 is some more drone guys and a Johnny Five. They are on fire. I don't have Unbreakable, I have Momentum. So this is another change. I might have to take less DPS. Or at least in this section. There's some sections when you're going to face Chungas that it's nice to put them down faster. And in those sections, they usually don't have drones. So this is a section that has drones. I should probably have a different build. The next section is going to have just a Chunga. So that should just be a different build. The section after that's 3 Chungas, no drones. Section after that's no drones. The section after that is some Chungas that really push and some dogs and really some Johnny Fives. So here's where the rubber's going to meet the road, kids. I have 0 kits now. And so now I can't afford anything else. Want to thank everyone that's been on the channel, that likes it, that gives a comment, that talks about it. I really appreciate everyone that does that. I want to call out Super Slanky Lanky, of course, Ultimate Shield, of course, Rich 85, Sloth Mood. I am Steezy, if I'm saying it right. Ms. Buffalo, that's on here every once in a while. I appreciate everyone. It's not over yet. I'm not going to go down yet. Or am I? And you'll see they end up, I think this is where I put the turret on the ground for a while. Because on this second wave with the dogs, I really don't want them to come in here. You see, I'm about to run out of my status effect, and it's back on. And while that's a great maximum DPS, but I probably need to be in a group to do that. So that's the other thing you got to think about. Some of these builds are perfect in groups. They're fantastic. For solo on a legendary, they might be a little bit different. So that's the other thing. What is the build for? What are you playing? And everyone's saying that now, so I won't beat that point to death. So I've gotten past this part. The next part, which is that room where they come out behind you. There's one Chunga. I've gotten that past the pool room. Or no, I got to the pool room. There's an open room. It's like I guess a little cafe or something, or a magazine stand. I've gotten past that, and then finally I've died in that pool room. Here's the dogs. What's patently unfair is there's 3 dogs, and there's normally 2 dogs on legendary. I guess someone gave me a good, might try a SMG build here. Of course, Striker's really good. I tried starting this off with Striker. Then I had a shield. I was watching person's thing. I just couldn't. I don't know where they're shooting from. Wherever I shot from, I got grenaded or killed. That was part of the many deaths in 34 minutes video that I'm not going to subject anyone to. So again, like I was saying, I appreciate everyone that watches the channel. I'm going to probably do some WoW stuff again this weekend. Probably do some more LumaFusion videos. It was kind of, I probably should just do, part of the problem is I'm using my iPad to record the video and then I'm doing it on my iPad. It's easier if I can do it and I can capture it on my computer using UBS. So it's kind of a technical thing that makes it easier. And finally, I got a Steam Deck, and I'd like to use that and play some games on that. It's not really the games are better on my laptop, but it's just, you can play some games that might be fun to not have installed on your computer, but on that device. Again, Ronin Kazi, I'm going to let it play out here, and we should take a poll. How many more seconds do I have to live?